Good morning. Hello to everybody here. Welcome to another Kerfuffle showcase. Chris May, welcome. Chris from Residential People. How the devil are you, sir? You all right?
I'm good, thanks, Simon. Yeah, just good. Just walked into my bedroom, out of my bedroom into the office. So our offices are in Canary Wharf, so I'm still working from home at the moment. I'm not in any rush to get on a tube or DLR train at the moment.
I'm not seeing too many people doing it, to be honest. Yeah, it's still a bit challenging out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chris, we obviously had you on the portal discussion show the other day, just a while back. It was really interesting to hear. Obviously, as one of the challenger portals, do you want to just give us sort of? Well, first of all, let's start off with your background, Chris. What's your background, and then we'll come on to Residential People.
Okay, so my background's mainly financial services. So I was quite successful in the noughties. I was probably one of the biggest mortgage distributors in the country, or the biggest. Our main clients were people like Lehman Brothers and, just before the crunch. But we used to do thousands and thousands of buy-to-let mortgages. And basically that's the main background. I've also had a stake in an agency as well. I used to own a stake in a well-known franchise, so I've got a bit of a state agency background as well. But my background's really sort of in the marketing side, sort of digital marketing, growing inquiries. So that's kind of where I've been B2B and B2C. Yeah, I'm getting on a bit now, so I've got a lot of experience under my belt.
No, because if I can refer to myself as a properties Peter Pan, you've got a long way to go yet. Don't worry about that.
I know it's your birthday recently, so I think I'm just 3 years older than you by the looks of it.
Good. Okay, well that's dated, I suppose. It's when you start filling out surveys and suddenly you start etching into those upper ones, you start panicking, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to spin the wheel.
And talk us through Residential People. Talk us through. So, how long has it been going? Give us a bit of background about what you felt. What you felt was needed. You know, we touched on that, the Challenger Portals point. Just give us an overview of where that comes from.
Yeah, so as I said, I've been involved in sort of finance and property for say 30 years. The initial idea came actually on the commercial property side, and we launched Commercial People because we recognised an opportunity that there wasn't anyone particularly specialising in the commercial aspect. The residential people aspect came after, but we just think there is real opportunities with the technology that we're building to, as you said, challenge the current duopoly in the UK. There's a huge scope. There's a huge amount of money in the industry, and so we decided to obviously launch our portal on a free to list model. Worth noting, we're not just in the UK, so we take ideas as well from other countries. We're also listing in the UAE, South Africa, and we're in India as well. So when I'm in the lockdown in particular, my Zoom meetings were involving not just obviously UK agents, but I was talking to agents in South Africa, in the UAE, saying what's going on. And they love our model.
You had a bit of international panache in there, and just
international panache. But we've been very clever. We're only going into countries that speak English as the main language. And if you've been to India or the UAE, everyone speaks English anyway. So it's not a problem. But they love our model because every country has the same agents have the same issues, and they feel that they're not getting we're not getting value for money, but they're being charged too much to list their properties. So. We've been proven right so far. We've got just under 1 million listings on our site at the moment. We're a .com site, and we've done the .com site purely from an SEO point of view because our game plan is in the next 3 years is to have 10 million listings. So 10 million property inventories on our sites in the next 3 years, which should give us a good page authority. In the search rankings.
And is the concept of having that international kind of element there, that there will be interest, reciprocal business from those countries as well? Or is you seeing an opportunity for a global business?
Yeah, I mean, very much so. I mean, first of all, we want to be local. So, if Mrs. Jones wants to, a buy to let, or to rent a property in Durham, we want to be there. But equally, if somebody in London is looking for an office in Cape Town, or a wealthy investor wants to buy a property in London from Cape Town or, the UAE, then we're geared up for that as well. We're also geared up that we on the advertising scale, because obviously as we get more traction and we get more views, and it's a well-known fact that property sites are one of the most viewed sites, out of all of the industries apart from social media. We're hoping to attract sort of advertisers like HSBC and the likes to come on the site purely because of the views we're getting. We've just done a partnership as well with Facebook Marketplace. So we do a lot of advertising. We've got a big budget for marketing this year. So we're doing a lot of social media marketing, but obviously going on to the Facebook Marketplace now allows us to upload our listings to there as well. So agents can get obviously a lot more exposure, because I know obviously agents are very keen now on their Facebook ads and things like that. Well, they can go on and we can upload their properties for free. So everything's going well. The inquiry levels have gone through the roof. I think as a portal, we generated in the last 30 days, we've generated around 90,000 inquiries for agents for sales and lettings, which is fantastic. We've got one agent, our record agent, in the last 30 days received 680 inquiries. So, he hasn't rang me up and said thank you yet.
You know why they won't do that? Because of course, the minute they do that, they'll start thinking, God, they're going to start charging us loads, don't you? That's the problem.
Yeah. But what we've done is we're working on a lot to do with the digital marketing. As I say, I've got a bit of a digital marketing background, but for an agent like that, if we continued on the same sort of realm, we'd probably, that's giving him 24,000 consumer data information over the next 3 years. Now, how we're seeing it is that obviously, I live in a place called Bromley, which is a postcode of BR2. Yeah. So in Bromley, there's 20,000 households. Now, obviously, like a lot of people now, it's the buzzword, the property data. Yeah, we've got information on 20,000 houses. Yeah, we've got that. We know where that's coming from. But I'm more interested in the 20,000 households, the consumers. Have I got their data? Have I got permission to market to them? Because the way I see it, and this is what we're building sort of in the background, is that if I can market in a GDPR compliant fashion to those 20,000 households via social media, via their mobile phones, via web push-ups, etc., any agent that I give that sort of data to is going to be able to win a lot more instructions and obviously get a lot more exposure for their agency. So we kind of want to go not the way that a lot of portals are going, which is like there's 24,000 agents, give me all of them. We just want to work really with one agent in each postcode, and that's what we're building this new lead nurturing system for.
Will that be postcode exclusivity, or at least for the lead generation side of things, or are you going to just allow it to develop to multiple agents?
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're building the site so that. Basically, what we want to do is we're getting a tremendous amount of data on our site at the moment. So what we want to try and do is share that data with a local agent. So we would, you're right, we would basically get one agent per postcode or per location. We're currently in the process as well of improving our search. So I will have postcode polygons and for all of the postcodes, all of the locations. So anyone doing a search on our site can basically a consumer can search, more importantly, with pinpoint accuracy. But it also allows us, as I've just said, to say, right, okay, do you want the BR2 postcode? There's 20,000 households, there's 45,000 population. Let's work together, let's share our data. We've built a site that basically where we can import that data or share that data with that agent. So over the next 3 years, if we can capture 60 to 70% of the households in that BR2 area, and we've created a system that basically can focus on and channel target marketing through various omni-channels. So all of the social media, the web push-up, WhatsApp, SMS, push-ups on their mobile, And we can do it in a very clever way that doesn't, we don't want to be overbearing and for them to unsubscribe, but it's a very clever way of getting referrals, getting them to come back to the site, getting them to come back to the agent site, and more importantly, finding out when they're going to sell or or if they want to buy. So that's the kind of data.
You mentioned a number of things there, because you mentioned the dreaded GDPR word, but we need to obviously be conscious of it. How do you dance around that very difficult GDPR compliance issue with that need to obviously deliver relevant information there, so that so that it is permission based? And how do you do that in a way that obviously isn't verging on becoming too spammy, without giving us all your secrets, of course?
Yeah, of course. So one example would be we're developing like a live chat bot. So somebody will come on our site. We're going to give that to the agent, and if that consumer has been on the site a number of times and they're looking at a particular property, we can basically divert that chat bot to the agent, so the agent can speak to the consumer in real time. But in a nutshell, it's being very clever with the pop-ups, being very careful with the disclaimers. We can even track people going on our website without even capturing the email. We can get a lot of data just from you clicking on the website without even clicking on a pop-up. But the next thing, as you rightly said, is enriching that data, making sure that you've got your GDPR compliant. But it's all about cleverly marketing what they want. All of the things I'm mentioning, the big retailers have been doing it for years and years. So really what I'm doing is I'm kind of, for want of a better word, I'm kind of stealing a lot of their ideas, because
every idea I've ever had has been nabbed. And I think you're right, though. Obviously, this is the one of the great things about this, seeing a bit of innovation. That's what was great about that Challenger Portal one, is one of the critiques that is often thrown at the big three in terms of the portals is that there is a lack of innovation there. We are seeing a tremendous amount of hugely exciting stuff going on in the wider world, the wider industry. It's taken a while to trickle down, but people like yourself are bringing that to play now, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we want to do as well, though, is a lot of the tools that I see. I've spoken to hundreds of digital marketing agencies that have contacted me over the years as well, and I've picked up a lot from them. But what tends to happen is there's a lot of tools out there to target consumers and to convert open source data and paid data and things like that. But it tends to be very technical, and you do need to know what you're doing to use the software. So what we're basically doing is we're trying to make it simple, and without being condescending, almost like an SEO stroke consumer tool for dummies, if you like, that you can just go on, you can actively automate the marketing, make it very target specific, so that if a client is looking at a property, they're looking at a 2-bedroom in Durham, it will just basically track them, give that sort of information, give mortgage information, all of the stuff that they would find useful. And what I'm saying to a lot of agents out there is pay more attention to your data. And I'm not just saying not property data, but consumer data, because like I gave you the example of the agent that we've generated 680 inquiries for. I had a conversation with him and he said, "Chris, you're sending me too many inquiries, and a lot of them are kind of, I want to stable my horse in your 2-bedroom flat," or something like that, because you can't control, the internet. But what I say to him is, look, there's 680 inquiries last month that are looking for a property to buy or rent in that area. Do you not think that in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, they are going to come back because they're going to be looking for another property to let or buy, or they may sell, or they may have a sister that they want to refer to your agency? So the trick is to nurture every single lead that comes through. If I had sent an inquiry to an agent when I was 21, they would have looked at my profile and said, "Oh, this is a waste of time." But if they'd nurtured me, if they'd emailed me, kept in touch, I would have remembered that agent when the times were good and I was looking to buy. So that's what we kind of want to bring in.
And it strikes me you've got a tremendous amount of leads there in terms of obviously where you are as a portal in your journey there. How have you managed to nurture that level of leads at a relatively early stage of the business?
Well, at the moment, all of the things, I mean, we're putting into practice all of the things that I'm talking to you about, what we want to offer agents, we're obviously doing as a business anyway. So when somebody comes on the site, you know, we do send out, we do a lot of marketing, direct to consumer marketing, which basically makes the agent, and so we've proven it works. They come back to the site and things like that. Like I said, now I want to offer that, you know, to agents and grow the business. I mean, the big question, one of the things that the Challenger Portal session we had, if you remember, in lockdown, which was very interesting. There was myself and there was the other 5 Challenger Portals.
Yeah.
Was they said, well, the biggest question any agent always asks me is, well, how are you going to be Rightmove? And the answer to that is we're not going to be page 1 of 1. I'd hope that one day we can be, but certainly in the next 3-4 years, we're not going to do that. So there's a big difference between consumers that will go on Google or go on Rightmove because that's the place to go and they've been trained to do that, to what I'm proposing, which is take my postcode, for example, 20,000 households, a population of 45,000, is how can I get as much of that information as I can? And I'm doing it the other way around. I'm going to the consumer rather than the consumer coming to me. So I'm being more proactive. And that's how we envisage that over the next 3 years as a portal is we're going to grow out this huge database that we can harvest, we can enrich. An example of that would be going on to the quality of the leads, which we just mentioned. So we're developing a system at the moment. I can basically, with if you like, a machine learning tool, I can basically, if you came on my website, you do multiple clicks, you go to various places of my website, I'll be able to detect over 3 or 4 sessions, is there a likelihood that this guy wants to sell a property? Is there a likelihood that this guy wants to buy a property? And what we're trying to build is that we want to basically almost send out a pre-approval on a lead. So I can sit with that lead, I can say this client has a 75% chance that he's serious, that he either wants to sell or he wants to buy. So that if an agent has 680 inquiries, they can go through those good ones first, the ones that are over 80%, and the ones that are kind of 20%, they can take a flyer on it, or they can just send a simple email.
This, Chris, this is then essentially that lead scoring, that propensity to buy, propensity to engage model that, of course, marketeers are obsessing over and can get very, very, very powerful results from if you understand that sort of thing properly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's funny, Simon, because you just said propensity to buy. I mean, propensity. Somebody spoke to me about that about a year ago, and I said, "Is that Latin? What does it mean?" You know. So you know, I talk to like yourself. I talk to hundreds of suppliers. So I always think you can learn and everything else. So there's with data. There's two lots of data. Obviously, you've got the property data, then you've got like the consumer data, but yeah, I mean, already they're modelling it so that basically I could target and I could buy that data. I know where I could buy the information for all of those 20,000 households, and I could target that data. But there's also, again, it's the machine learning. Is this client credit stretched? Has this client had a price reduction? Has this client been in the house for more than 7 years? And basically, you know, there's probably a good chance that if you sent out a mail shot or use various omni channels, Royal Mail being one of them, I mean, if you come back and 10 people say, yeah, I want to sell my house. Now, if you were a local agent in the BR2 postcode, you could basically jump leaps and bounds above your competitors in terms of taking on new instructions. So we're looking at that, and we're also looking at the consumer data that's hitting our site as well and nurturing that. And we also want to show agents how they can nurture the data that's hitting their site. Because if I took an agent in Bromley, for example, and I said, look, you've got a big database there, you've got 10,000 consumers, but we've got 50,000 that have come on our site. Why don't we combine forces and use the various omni channels to target market, these consumers? Because I see a lot of kind of Facebook. There's a lot of the big buzz thing that I'm going to advertise my properties on Facebook, like paid ads. But a lot of agents need a bit of education on how to do that, because I've seen agents that have done that. I've done it as an agent, and I've put a Facebook ad on. It's gone to my mum, my sister, my brother. You know, what you need to
telling all of them, don't click on that, for God's sake. That's going to cost me money.
Yeah, exactly. So, and so the whole idea, what I'm saying is, if you've got all of their emails and you've got all of that data, whenever you send out a Facebook ad in that postcode, you are specifically targeting those people that are looking to buy and rent. And the same with web push-ups. And you get a web push-up on your mobile, you get a web push-up now, if something will come up in the corner of my screen, once every 2 weeks, have you reviewed your mortgage? Are you looking to move? Can we save you money on your mortgage? Whatever it's going to be, what's the local council tax bands in the area? All of that sort of thing. Where can I get a decent Boris meal for 50% off on a Wednesday night? It could even be something like that. But yeah.
I don't think Greg's have started doing it yet, but I'm keeping my eye peeled there. Those web push-ups, Chris, does that necessitate needing an app, or can that just be done from the web page itself?
That's normally if you're using sort of usually Windows, it basically. So for example, I'll admit to it, I went on the Sun. I read an article on the Sun online the other day. Quite an amusing article, and the next day I look in the corner of my screen, I get a push up with the so it's just as simple as that, really. But as I said, as long as it's not spammy, and providing what you do is you automate that, you use various, you don't just use one marketing channel, you use several, and you spread them out, and you can automate it in specific dates. So the clients come on my site, they've given me their email. 1 week they get an email, 1 week they get a Facebook ad, another week they get an Instagram ad, all of that sort of thing. And that by that way, if they're looking to ever buy or sell, your name is becoming embezzled in their subconscious. And that is basically what retailers do. If you go and buy a pair of Nike trainers, that's exactly how they get you to come back and buy another pair of Nike trainers.
It's the classic subliminal advertising, isn't it? Consistency and relevance all over the place. You mentioned him a few times here, and Christian Byfield, hi Christian, he's just asked the question: is it realistic to expect agents to nurture every lead? Appreciate a lot can be automated with funnels, but few agents have the time and energy and put that in place. Are you saying that one of the elements that you are encouraging is that is something that you will do, or does the agent need to take that responsibility on themselves?
Right. So first of all, it's something that we're going to do anyway. So we're going to do that for the benefit of our agents. And that way we can basically pass back sort of inquiries and leads in that postcode. But ultimately, what I want to do is I want to bring this to the mainstream. So the objective for me would be to give the agent the tools, pre-populate that tool with our data, and they can put their data on it as well, and make it very simple to use. So I want to, realistically, the answer is yes. I think that, if that agent that I talked about with 680 inquiries, he might have got 680 from me, but he might have got, 1,000 from the other portals that he's listed on. So what I'm proposing is making it simple to use and easy to use, and giving them almost like a kid-proof. Look, if you're going to do a Facebook ad, this is how you do it properly, and this is how you don't waste money. If you're going to do a web push-up, here's the templates. This is very easy to use. Just target them with one every month. I mean, even if a consumer got an email once every 2 months, it's sometimes enough to keep you in their minds.
It absolutely is. You touched on this earlier in terms of your desire to try and make those leads as relevant as possible. And there was certainly a mini war for a while, wasn't there, amongst the main portals? We're sending X million of leads, and the next one would say we're sending even more than that. And actually, what they don't understand is unless those leads are valid, that they're actually a cost. They're wasting your time. Famously, tire kickers there. So what is it that you do to try and make sure that you don't just end up sending anything other than the hottest of leads?
Okay, so first of all, I can't stop a consumer saying, that I want to, do you accept pet foxes in your flat or something like that, or pythons or whatever, So that's what I can't control. What I can control and what we are developing is, as I said, there's the scoring system. Yeah. So I can tell that because a consumer has clicked on a certain type of property in several locations, he's clicked on the mortgage section, he's clicked on this section. Yeah. I can more or less credit score that, and I can say there's an 80% chance that he's gonna basically be
because the behaviour is actually telling you, rather than just because they've ticked a box saying I'm extra hot at the moment. You're actually seeing it displayed on the website, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, but I'm also going against kind of what you said in that. Well, can you give agents just the hot leads? In my experience, every lead is a good lead. It's just that, somebody said to me that operated, a supplier in the industry. They said, there's no such thing as a bad lead. They might be bad now, but just because this 19-year-old has sent an email saying, do you accept DSS or something like that? Yeah. For all you know, they could be at university studying rocket engineering. So the whole idea is that there's no, if you've got a database as an agent and you've got even 80,000 consumer data, why can't you send an email? Why can't you target social media ads and web push-ups to those people if it's a simple to use site? And I guarantee you there's a lot of agents that have got data, they're not even probably using it to the full advantage.
Oh, that's 100%. My old CRM company, we used to look at, the thousands and thousands of people that the agents were very, very proud, almost bragging about the size of their database. Yeah. When have you actually used it? Well, we send them a newsletter every 12 months or something like that. It's, it's moved on.
Repeat? You used to work at Repeat, didn't you?
Yeah.
We're integrated with them.
Oh, good. Okay, well, that's a big one to have there as well. So obviously, it opens you up into a huge amount of leading agents there. But that key point, isn't it? That ultimately, let's be honest, this is what technology's job is, isn't it? It's to set up right. It is to stay in contact with them on as much as a sort of self-service proposition as possible. Them telling you what kind of information they want it, the frequency of that, and then when they're ready, they will transact with you on their terms.
Yes. So how many people do we see walking around the street like that? And they're looking at their phones more than they're looking at the boards. And it's what you've got to think is whenever you market to a consumer, even if it's not the best quality now, you don't know whether they've got a sister or a brother or a mum that's looking to move, and they say, I want to sell my house. I keep getting these emails. These look good. Why don't you contact them? So so what we try and say, this is what we were trying to say in that Challenger Portal seminar, is that agents should be looking to get as much exposure as they can to gather as much data as they can, and then it's what they do with that data that makes all the difference.
Okay, really, really helpful to understand that. And we spoke about the Challenger portals, the main portals. What we've touched on a few points here. Is there anything else that helps you stand out from all of these? Obviously, because agents are just they are they are hit with a plethora of options at the moment now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I'll be honest, I was a bit guilty of sort of getting the popcorn out and looking at that the various forums that we're sort of setting up and. What I'm trying to focus on now is I'm trying to focus. I find that I'm not looking really at the competitors at the moment. I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing. So what I tend to find is I'm trying to be as creative as I can, and come out with something that's going to be useful. So why would an agent advertise with us? Well, they're going to get inquiries. They're going to get free online exposure, and obviously we're bringing out all these other wonderful tools that I've talked about. But I think some of the things that I've hit on is the Holy Grail, and that's what we're building. We recognise that, and if we can deliver on what we said, and what I'm hoping for, Simon, is if I can come back in probably 6 months' time with 10 agents that have beta trialed this, and they can say, yeah, I took on 20, 30 new instructions, and I'm now beating the competitor over the road because of this tool that Chris May's talked about on his platform, Residential People. that's all I want at the end of the day. So there's lots and lots of but I'd say advertise on Rightmove, advertise on wherever you're going to advertise. I mean, we like a lot of portals. You can list with us for free. You can get inquiries for free. We can upload to Facebook for free. So, if you are spending £300, £400, £500 on Facebook ads, well, hey, we'll load you on Facebook for nothing and get you, half a dozen inquiries.
So clearly you've got to make the money from somewhere, Chris. What's the commercial model in terms of revenue for the portal itself?
Right, so the portal, when we set up, we set it up as a free to list. We developed a marketing suite so you can convert listings into PDF brochures, microsites, videos as well. Now those videos are more of a kind of SEO tool to kind of get you more exposure on YouTube, which is YouTube's kind of very underrated, I think, as a marketing channel. And we basically, the model was based on the fact that we offer featured agent spots in postcodes. So if somebody wants to get more exposure, more inquiries, more instruction valuations, we'll charge an agent to list on that top spot. But unlike a lot of other portals, it won't be a carousel. You'll have exclusivity to it. And like I said, we're looking for one agent per postcode. So we'll charge for that on an annual basis. And we're also looking at developing a kind of directory for property-related services, and we'll charge for that. So basically, if you want to advertise on our site, on our directory, get the benefit of all of the lead nurturing and the news sharing that we could do with our audience to generate you more inquiries, Mr. I'm an expert at getting planning permission or whatever it might be, we'll charge for that as well. But the things that I've talked about as well on the marketing side, we are going to charge for that. So there's going to be some things, there's going to be some data, our data that we'll share, and that won't be at any cost. There'll be some data that we'll have to charge for, and we'll charge that on a sort of monthly subscription. The key for me is to get a commercial model that's not going to cost the world, it's going to be affordable and generate a good return on investment. Now, again, if I can go and get 7,000 or 8,000 agents to take a postcode and to get that system, then obviously I think we're on to a winning strategy. But like I said, you chase the success and then money will follow. You don't chase the money first, you chase the success. So I'm first of all building on getting the platform up to a stable level, getting the inquiries up to 300,000, getting 500,000 listings on the site, and getting more agents to list with us. So at the moment, I'm saying to agents, look, come on the site, you have nothing to lose. If I get you 500 inquiries in a month, that's going to go on your database. We can do all the other clever things that we just talked about, a minute ago.
And the critical thing there as well is if you do buy into the model there, why would you not give it a go? Because ultimately, whereas I think it's fair to say with a number of the other portals, there's a lot of, if you like, repeat business there, i.e. it's the same person going on to multiple portals. With you being more proactive and nurturing that, you'd like to think that if the model delivers, it's delivering a different client, isn't it? Than just those
absolutely.
bouncing around different portals.
Yeah, so if I can go back to an agent, as we discussed, and I can basically say, look, this client has a 75% chance that he's either looking to sell or he's not a tire kicker, he's focused on committed to renting a place or buying a place, that's where we'll separate the difference. So we're almost, so in another word, what I mean, I might even take this as another idea actually, is, I'll go to Rightmove and I'll say, Rightmove, I can clean up your data. So giving me an idea, yeah. But no, we want to use that. I mean, I'm interested as well in taking the model and integrating with people like Reap It and stuff like that. So I'm talking to one CRM. It's just early talks, but as well, if we can integrate with a couple of CRMs as well, so that the leads get funneled into the agent's CRM, and then they can shoot off into the omni channels that I've just discussed, and we can import and share our data as well. That would be a winner as well. So you see that very much then partnerships as a, whereas some people see that as a bit of a pain in the neck, you very much see it as an opportunity. You've mentioned Reap It there. Who else do you work with? We're all of them. I mean, we're integrated with all of the CRMs. We accept say the Rightmove API. You know, we can basically accept properties in, again, multiple channels. And for the odd agent that wants to upload one or two, they could even upload manually through the dashboard. And, you know, like I said, there's a lot of agents out there that do a little bit of commercial as well. So the commercial people site will work in exactly the same way. Yeah. I have to say, obviously, the commercial agents seem to be quite far behind the residential agents in terms of digital marketing and things like that. But it works exactly the same way. You can list your commercials on the commercial platform as well.
Why do you think that is, just as a complete aside? Why do you think there is that kind of lag in terms of innovation, as it seems to be?
On the commercial side? I think what it basically is that I don't want to sort of sound condescending or anything. I mean, I think a lot of agents come into the agency world, and they're more marketeers. You know, that they know. Yeah, commercial agents don't really need to do that. They're well trained. They've studied. You know, they're chartered surveyors, and normally all of the information they've got is in their head, and they don't really think too much about the marketing side. That is changing gradually, but I just think, they were a little bit far behind in that regard. Yeah,
I think you're right though. It's a definite dynamic. Sometimes stereotypes are unfair, but other times they're right for a reason. It's always just quite interesting to jump in terms of there. And Chris, what other sort of tech innovation are you looking on? Obviously, you've got a really exciting proposition now. You're in multiple countries. You're generating good level of leads. You've set yourself some quite clear targets in terms of going after in terms of the listings, but I'm guessing you have quite a aggressive roadmap in the kind of stuff you want to do to get all of this digital marketing out there into your client base. The challenge with any I mean, we can't, Rome wasn't built in a day. So when I'm talking to agents, I'm not, I don't want to come across, look, this is all happening overnight. This is all stuff that we're developing, and there's new ideas coming to the fore all the time. But, let's be brutally honest, we haven't got the massive resource that some of the other portals have got. So we have to do things in stages, version 1, version 2. But where we've got a massive advantage, just to give you an example, is if you go into South Africa, you won't see a single Valpow tool. Or valuation tool, but there's going to be one soon because we're launching it. Okay, interesting.
So what I'm saying is we're not just making money, and we're not just looking at making money from the UK. We're looking at multiple other streams as well. So, and that's the good thing as well, is there's some good ideas in the UAE, for example, that are being done by people over there that aren't being done here. So sometimes I take those ideas and I'll work with them,
Yeah, just tapping into different markets, different ideas, bring those across where you can do, and filter those.
Okay.
That's right. Cool. And so let's talk about it. Where do you see residential property then 5 years from now? Is it going to be? Are you going to be the new Rightmove, or do you see it as a slightly different landscape then?
Well, I've already bought a domain name called "Say No to Residential People" just in case. But no, I mean the whole idea with us is that, as I said, we're always going to be free to list. My objective at the moment in 5 years' time wouldn't be to necessarily overtake Rightmove, although I'd love to. If I can get in the top 5, I would be happy with that, because that would be very valuable. Because what you've got to remember is we're not, as I said, keep going back to the same thing, is that if we were in 20 different countries with, 50 million views a day on those sites, what is that data worth, and how much return on investment can I generate? So our objective is to probably get in the 4th or 5th in the next 3 to 5 years. That's where we want to be. And just basically just thought of as a credible option to advertise properties. So
what will be your biggest barrier? Do you feel, what is the biggest challenge there to stopping that happen?
I mean, obviously, I'm very persistent. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't give up very easily. So I'm playing the long game. I gradually want to win over more agents that hopefully, if they've listened today, everything that I'm suggesting is because I'm trying to help, because I'm trying to basically create a platform that's going to add value to them. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. And I think some of the things that I've suggested today are very different to what's out there at the moment. The biggest barrier would be by if agents said, no, I don't like the idea, and no, that's a bad idea. But then I can't see that, because if I can, why would an agent not want 20 new instructions every month? So providing I can back up what I've said, which is to say it's in development, we're going to be beta testing that through October, November. We're probably launching that hopefully in the new year. But like I said before, I mean, I just would, if I could ask anything, is that the agent, for example, that I've given 600 inquiries to, I just wish he would tell other agents about us. Yeah. So that's why I'm on here, because I'm trying to get more exposure for the portal to say, look, we're delivering inquiries, we're free to list, you've got nothing to lose. You can upload your properties via any CRM. We can automatically upload it to Facebook if you want. It is an opt-in. You don't have to, but then why wouldn't you? And surely the more eyeballs that you've got on your brand, just like residential people, we want more eyeballs on our brand, then it's a no-brainer, really.
Well, have a chat with me offline, and we'll ignore the old GDPR thing. Give me that agent's details, and I'll give him a ring and see if we can get him reviewing you on a certain review site.
Yeah, okay, not a problem.
Okay, that's good. Do you have a certain businesses at different life cycles of the business? They don't tend to cover all angles of the market. They don't do everything from a single office independent all the way through to a corporate. Do you have at the moment what the concept of almost like a perfect client, or ones that you see more regularly coming to you, or is it genuinely just all agents of all sizes and scales?
Well, I think the challenge in the marketplace at the moment, every corporate sort of has their reason for, if you like, not wanting to list with us at the moment. My ideal, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a bit like the forums that we saw over the lockdown, is that the 80% of the UK market is your small independent. So when I've been sort of like creatively thinking of things with a nice glass of Chardonnay in the evening or whatever it is, that's when my best ideas seem to come. It's been what can I create that's going to add real value to that small independent? And I know you support Man City. I'm a West Ham fan, so I've always supported the underdog.
I'm a Liverpool fan. Don't hit me with that. I'm a Liverpool fan.
One of the big ones. So basically we want to go after, ideally, the sort of independent, or the guy with 2 or 3 branches. And like I said before, we want to nurture the leads. We want to work with one specific agency in a postcode to prove the concept works. If we can prove the concept works, then obviously, I want people calling me, not the other way around. I don't want to be cold calling agents. I want them to come to me because they've heard about me, or they've heard about me for a consumer or somebody else.
Makes perfect sense. Well, I encourage anyone, obviously, to get in contact with you on that basis. As you said, free to sign up at the basic level. Why would you not, suck it and see, so to speak? And you've been very kind with us, haven't you, Chris, in terms of giving a deal here from you. Let's just go through this. So obviously, as you said, listing properties on the portal is free of charge. Along with the optional marketing suite, our customers can also gain exclusive marketing rights, which you were just talking about, through localized banner advertising within their chosen area, helping them to stand out and stay ahead of their competitors. Any Kerfuffle members will receive a 20% discount off our advertised pricing on that side of things. Is that right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. Well, thank you very much for thinking of our members. We do love suppliers that go to town with them there. And again, encourage anybody to, as always, with any of the people coming on these ones, make sure you go to their landing page, see the further information. We obviously keep all these videos on there, so you have got a vault of information, and just use it for your due diligence. If you want to get to know and get under the skin, there's no better opportunity than these kind of opportunities to talk to the likes of Chris and understand where this business comes from. So
yeah, absolutely. And as I said, I'm going to be doing a lot more on your sort of platform as well. So as soon as we've launched some of the products we've talked about, I'll come back. Hopefully I'll be able to come back with 5 or 6 agents as well, and they can give a lot.
Yeah, we look. I mean, genuinely, that kind of straight from the horse's mouth one is such
Yeah.
such a nice one to be able to talk to, and maybe we can tease Mister 600 Leave person out of the
Oh yeah, but I want them to come on the show as a favour to me, rather than me having to send them a bottle of Dom Perignon or something, you know.
Well, certainly not in these times. Dom Perignon, bottle of Matthias Rosé will do at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. Prosecco.
Okay. Chris, wish you all the best with it. It sounds very exciting.
Thanks.
Some of the stuff there. Do keep us up to date with those there. Obviously, if you've got clients out there that are really, really happy with the service, please, guys, jump on board, give them a review. And I know Chris would be very happy. And he's already stated. Oh, actually, we're not allowed to nurture and encourage leads with rewards anymore. But otherwise, it's a bit of a wink there. So
Yeah.
Chris, great to catch up with you again.
Thanks, Simon.